How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're a little jet lagged from Las Vegas, huh?
I am a little jet lagged, but I got really lucky because I got to the airport really early yesterday, and because I had an 11 a.m. flight. But I did the airport at Arizona last year, so I knew the airport. And I got there early, and the lady said, "Oh, you got a long day," because I was supposed to fly to Denver and then have a layover and then fly back because I couldn't find a direct flight. And she said, "You know what? It looks like too many Kansas City fans were hungover and they didn't show up to this 9:30 flight. We've got some openings on there. Do you want to
Stop it.
stand by?" So I got a straight nonstop flight that was all Kansas City people coming back. A lot of them did look like they hadn't slept. There was a woman handing out friendship bracelets on it. It was a good time. But more importantly, did you see my flight there, who I sat by?
I can't remember.
Bobby Bell.
Oh, the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah. He's 83 years old.
I only see him with our friend Brian Schweitzer at Chiefs games, but Bobby Bell is still at a lot of the Chiefs games. So, yeah.
No, this man is so spry. Like, I went to go see, I didn't know who he was. We all know I probably didn't know that. So
I was going to say, I was like, Bobby Bell, you knew Bobby.
But
Chiefs Hall of Famer.
So I go to sit down in my seat, and he's like, somebody else is sitting in that seat. They already went to the bathroom. And I was like, this is my seat, right? You're like on an airplane. You're like, did I mess up? I already have anxiety flying. So I was like, and he's like, no, I saw him go to the bathroom. I told him I'd make sure no one else sat there. And I was like, and the flight attendant came up and she's like, he's just giving you a hard time. And I was like, oh, like, why are you so mean to me? And then all of a sudden people start walking on the plane, like, because him and I like pre-boarded, and they started freaking out and they were like asking for pictures with him. And then I go, are you famous or something? And he's like, yeah, not really. And the lady next to me was like, I just asked my husband, here's his stats. And I was like, and then we started talking and we became buddies. And then I asked him if he had a TikTok. He said he did not.
Yeah.
So I said, do you want to make a TikTok video? And he's like, yeah, I want to do it. So we made a TikTok video together.
So our sponsor, Bestway International, did a lot of work for the stadium in Vegas. So they were delivering a lot of specialty projects. So typically when you're wanting to deliver something and it's complicated, you need someone like Bestway International to figure it out. It's like a lot of the glass that is in the stadium, actually Bestway International figured out how to do it. And because you and I don't have any restrictions or compliance because our sponsor is so amazing, it made me want to talk about things being legal in Nevada and being legal in Missouri. So if you have a little pre-flight, need to calm yourself down, it's very legal to do.
I have very legal Xanax that I take. So
yeah, well,
and then I just make TikToks with random football players. But he was awesome. And so it was a great experience. Went to Vegas. We won another Super Bowl. I was telling you and everyone on the show pre-wife, if you were in Vegas, you probably know this. Leave something in the comments. But it was about 10. There would be 10 49ers fans before you saw a Chiefs fan. It felt like being at an away game. So it was very interesting, but it was a great time, and I had a lot of good fun.
That does make sense. When we watched on TV the pregame stuff, there's just so many people booing the Chiefs, but that makes sense being a 10-1. It's great to have reporter Aaron Fulk with boots on the ground to give us live stats.
I did go to the NFL media party, so I'm official now. So let us know if you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, our new and improved Drinks with Leaders. Elizabeth said, I am on the line. It's Vince Vaughn, like to say, in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Internship. Anytime you're feeling out of sorts or just need to laugh and you're a Gen Xer, bring up this gem. Vince Vaughn, when people ask you the celebrity story, like, have you ever met a celebrity and you were just beyond disappointed? My answer is Vince Vaughn. I'll tell you on the back end, Elizabeth. But
ooh, I met Vince Vaughn in Chicago. I yelled hot route. He just gave me a Starbucks coffee wave.
Nope. I saw him screaming at a little girl at the club because she spilled some tequila on his shoe when other people were covered, including me. So, because she tripped. And after that, I was about 24 years old. I've never been able to watch him since. Paul Fogel says he's watching you through binoculars. Okay, Paul.
I love it.
Paul, every week, Paul. All right, here's the deal. If you're watching, let us know. Are you watching live? Are you watching the replay? Are you watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook? We've had a lot more views in 2024. So I think it's this new, shorter, put them on a clock show we're doing.
That's why you're really good. And then Bestway International as well.
We love it. All right, let's just bring the people in because nobody cares about us. Not good enough to use music. I keep getting okay. First thing first, our first guest today is Kelli. And then we also have, back for more, Harry Campbell. Hi, guys. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Look,
Doing wonderfully.
Not Eric making fun of our music. I missed that sweet, sweet Joe Carrot. It is so bad. Please somebody message me through the week and remind me to change it. I always say on the show and then I forget.
Just got a message.
Put it on my daily list. Don't put it on my daily list. That's what I need to do. Awesome. Okay, well, welcome, guys. Welcome. So this is a new show this year in 2024. So you guys are getting put on the clock today. Are you guys ready? All right. Oh, look, Riley is excited, Kelli. No pressure. No pressure, but Riley.
Here's the boss.
There he is. All right, Kelli.
That's debatable.
No, he's our boss, not your boss.
Just
I'm kidding anyway.
All right, Kelli, who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
I am Kelli Adkins, and I'll start with the other real easy one. I was born here in Independence, Missouri, and I know you already got images in your head of what that's like just from me saying that. Great place to grow up, loved it, stayed here. I have moved around a little bit in the Midwest and had different careers, but now I work for Bestway International as a key account manager. And that means that I have a book of clients that I've cultivated over the last, I think I'm in my 13th year now. And our company is split up into a domestic division, export and import. And we have teams of people that are in operations that know those businesses inside and out. My job is to know just enough to make me dangerous of all three so that I am very protective of my clients that we have that work with Bestway, and I make sure they're getting a great experience with us at all the time. And I can see we have some clients that only use one department. We have some clients that use for all three departments. So that's what I do on the daily. And I also have room to try to find new people to help to join us at Bestway that we can help with international and domestic freight, things like that. So since my book of business has grown so much, I do spend quite a bit of time on the account management side, but it's also my job to always kind of introduce new people to Bestway as well.
How has the business evolved in the 13 years that you've been at Bestway?
I will say the first probably 8 were pretty boring, rates stayed the same, nothing too exciting. There's no new way to move stuff from one place to another. Ocean container moves have been the same for I don't know how long. Pretty boring. The laws are the same. It's ridiculous. But then COVID hit and all of a sudden it became really sexy to know about freight and how to get stuff moving. It became very expensive for a while. And things are changing dramatically a lot up and down. So it became an industry for a while there when I said it was kind of boring of just move it the cheapest way possible and service wasn't valued very much. But since the chaos has ensued, services became a lot more important, which is great for a company like ours because that's what we hang our hat on. So that's one of the biggest changes. The technology piece is really coming in hot and heavy here lately. And I've been saying, I feel like I'm turning into an IT salesperson now because I'm really having to learn about, all the different platforms we can offer and technology pieces that our customers are wanting. And as our clients are aging out and retiring and we're getting younger people doing this job, they would rather have a platform and not speak to people. And so right now I'm in a funny mix of some of the same clients I've had for 13 years that we, meet for lunch and review for the quarter of the year, what goals are and how we can improve and things like that. And then I have younger clients that are just like, send me an email.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a good, right in there. I'm 44, so I feel like I'm in between. I want both.
Yeah, Aaron, a little quick before you connect the dots, Harry may have hired Riley Wiles. And so Harry has a little bit of a background in freight. So just throwing out a little teaser there.
Hold on real quick. Elizabeth said Harry Campbell rocks. Ask him about his records at IU and the Hoosier Award that he brought to Sprint and did not receive. He is the culture king. You got a super fan over here, Harry. All right, Harry. Who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
Harry Campbell. I put the S in the middle there to differentiate between personal and business. I call Harry S. Campbell my speaking moniker. I did not grow up here. I was not born here. I'm a Hoosier. But in 1992, I moved here. So I've been here 31 years. Every once in a while, I think, when do I start saying I'm from Kansas City? I don't know. I don't now. What's really cool about why I moved here is it kind of comes full circle. I had spent 7 years in marketing at Procter & Gamble, working on Crest, Pepto-Bismol, Metamucil. I was working down the body. I'm not sure where I was going next, but I bailed. 92, I came here, and the reason I was hired at Sprint in Kansas City is because the World Cup was coming to the United States for the first time ever. World Cup was hosting it, not Kansas City, but the U.S., and it was in 1994, and Sprint signed up to be a national sponsor, but didn't have a sponsorship group. I was hired to be the director of national sponsorships for Sprint, and it was specifically because of the World Cup one that they really felt like they needed a department. So I'm here because of the soccer. And then I think about 2026, which is even better because not only is the United States hosting it with Canada and Mexico, I think both, but Kansas City is going to get some of those games. So it's kind of cool. So I moved here 31 years ago. What I do is I am W-2 retired, and I keep myself very busy doing 3 specific things. My wife and I invest in small businesses. We love it. And we're very active in that. I coach and I mentor anybody that would like to ask me questions and learn from what I've experienced. I love to pass that good word on. And I'm I'll call it speaker. And I was going to say a writer, but that's not fair. My books are 100 pages double spaced. I have 3 of them. Each of them has a keynote speech that goes with it. But at the end of the day, I am a speaker who has books, not an author. And I absolutely love it. I get lost in it when I'm on the stage. I go crazy. I'm spitting. I'm throwing myself around. I'm telling stories, and I'm trying to let people understand why I got into situations I was in, how I got out of it, or whether it was good or bad, and the lessons I learned, so that maybe they can take some of those lessons away.
Awesome. Real quick question: were you at the games in Atlanta in '94?
I did the Olympics. I was at the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996. I went to, I think, 3 of the soccer games in 94. One of them was in the Meadowlands. The other one was in Palo Alto, and the third one is in Chicago.
Whoa.
Was there, I went to some soccer game in 94 or 96. It was either the Olympics or the World Cup. Never mind. I don't remember. Awesome. Well, we're super excited. You've been on the show before, but it's all brand new with the clock. So I'm glad you weren't stressed out. You did perfect.
I applaud you for your new layout and your new format. Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was bringing her down, Harry. I was bringing her down as always. So
I limited them to one question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Back to the question. So, Kelli, what was the most pivotal moment of your career?
I have had 2 careers, kind of. So I started out in pharmaceutical medical sales for 10 years. And then I say I retired because I don't like to use the word quit, to raise my little hooligans until they became in kindergarten. And so I was looking for my next move. And Jay Devers, my boss, was looking for somebody to help grow his business at the time. So,
and to clarify, Riley is our boss. So just so you know. Yeah.
You want me to say Riley is our boss?
No, Aaron and I, for the show, I joke around all the time that our sponsor's our boss. So I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Right. Riley's never said that.
I'll give it to you. So yes, Bestway International hired me 13 years ago. And what was great about it versus the pharmaceutical medical field is that I had a much, much smaller territory, which was important to me when I had 2 little kids at the time. So I had all of Iowa, Nebraska, part of South Dakota when I was in medical sales. My husband did the same kind of job, and we were just passing ships through the night. So I shifted, and I will say though, I thought sales was sales was sales was sales. And selling a product versus a service, which is Bestway's a service, is entirely different. Much, much harder. People will use us because they trust me. And so that's why it's super important that we follow through with what we say. I take that very seriously because that's what I have to hang my hat on. So, and not everybody in our market plays fair, by the way. So that has been a culture shock for me and kind of interesting to work with. But I'm happy that we work the way we do. It makes it more challenging as a salesperson to kind of break in sometimes, but I'm very happy with how we stay on the up and up and are good in our industry and help people out as best we can. And like I said, that's the big shift that I took, I guess. So I say I have 2 careers. I don't know that I would find one pivotal, as I've been doing the same job for a while now, 13 years.
Well, I think post-COVID, there's probably a lot of new people in your industry as well, right?
There is, and they're falling off pretty quick right now, though, too. So that's why one of the big things we do talk about is that we've been around for 35 years and we're not going anywhere. So yes, there was a lot of changeover, but a lot of stability where we're at. So
do you feel like when you say not everybody plays fair, that was the same pre-COVID and post-COVID, or did that get crazier post-COVID?
Yeah, I think it was the same pre and post. And it's just, like I said, it was a shocker to me just because we don't run that way. And just the more people I talk to, and I just mean like giving quotes that aren't really representative of what the entire move would take. Whereas we put a lot of time and effort into making sure we understand what you want and we quote it fairly. And that's what we charge you. And so a lot of people might quote on a short side to be able to get your business, and then they come back and charge you something else later. So that's what I mean about it. Kind of makes my job harder sometimes if people are only looking at price, because sometimes we're not comparing apples to apples. Believe it or not, on a service, that's hard to do versus a product.
Yeah. It's service versus product is different, even marketing, like, right? It's just so crazy different.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, you're up.
Harry, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
All right, I'm going to mess with you here and give you 2 answers, and I'm going to define them slightly differently. The first one I'm going to do is give you what I'm going to consider my most proud moment in my career. And I'm 62 years old, so I've seen some water under the bridge. Mm-hmm. What happened was I had been a vice president at Sprint, quite the career I had. I was really loving it, and I got the opportunity to be a small business owner, so I quit the big guys. No more P&G, no more Sprint. And I became the co-owner of a sports marketing firm called MAI. And the reason why I bring that up is in 1998, we were named the Mr. K Award winner. We made the top 10 in Bartle Hall. They'd have the breakfast to announce the winner. Our entire company was at 2 tables. And they start to say the winner for this year, the Mr. K Award, goes to Marketing Associates International, MAI. We were a sports marketing firm. We went absolutely berserk. The cool thing about it is, having worked for 12 years prior to that in Fortune 500 companies, my feeling of my impact, it wasn't like I didn't feel like I made a difference, but there was so many people and so much stuff going on, you don't feel it directly. But when you are the co-owner of a 20-person company, and you are named Business of the Year in Kansas City, that is cool, especially since I had spent my entire career in Fortune 500 companies. People thought, no way he's going to be able to do that in a small business, because I had no resources. We had an office manager that 3 of us split. We had to do our own stuff. We had to get our own printer cartridges and do all that. And that is a stark change. So that's number one. The second one, I'm going to say, is boring but pivotal. It fits directly there. After I sold my half of the sports marketing firm, bad idea, but I did. I got into the .com roll-up, and the company that I joined, UClick, in downtown Kansas City, failed. I was in trouble at that point. I was 39 with a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, divorced and unemployed. And what happened was I tried to evaluate, do I stay here? Where do I go? What do I do? And I ended up going back to Sprint at that point, having been gone for 5 years. The reason why I say it's pivotal is that ended up leading me to eventually be the president of a couple of the big divisions of Sprint. Spun off with Embark, was the president there. I got all sorts of good, cool jobs that came out of it. But what happened was, when I left Sprint the first time, I left well. And one of the things I tell my kids, I got a couple of adulting kids in Chicago, and I've got a 15-year-old. And I tell them, when you're going to leave somewhere, you darn well better leave well. And if you do, good things can happen. It was pivotal that I left well so I could go back when I was unemployed, and it led to really good things later. So that's a piece of advice that I would implore upon folks.
That's really good advice. I don't know why that clock makes that noise. I'm sorry. Still working on the clock action here. Really put the pressure on. That is good advice. No, and I think that comes easier the older you get, right? Like when you're young, you think you need to prove a point. I've definitely learned that lesson. All right, great. Okay, let's see here. Kelli, what are your 2024 goals, and how can the Kansas City community help you accomplish those?
Our goals are always just to help other Kansas City companies grow their international business and help their companies grow. So when our customers do well, we do well. And our boss has always given us a lot of leeway to go out and just make connections and help people when we can, even if we don't end up moving stuff for you, if we can consult, if you're considering buying from a foreign vendor, if you're considering selling to a new market, the earlier we can start conversations and start helping you plan it out, the better. And we want to do that. So that's the big goal.
So with your organization, do you work, I know you work with clients all throughout the country. What makes you, what's the type of client that makes you the most excited that you want more of?
We fit really well with mid-sized companies that have decision makers here in the United States. So I just had this conversation at lunch a little bit. It makes me nervous for the person I'm talking to, when I'm having a conversation and they're buying something internationally, but they're not controlling it at all. They say their supplier takes care of it from door to door. And it's a tough conversation for me to have because I don't want to tell them they're doing anything wrong or anything like that. But at the same time, it makes me nervous for them because they don't have a freight forwarder working for them then. The freight forwarder has been hired by the seller, and there are legal obligations that they have as a buyer in the United States. So documents need to be filed before an ocean container leaves. Let's say customs clearance needs to be done on your behalf by probably a foreign freight forwarder then, or somebody they've hired in the United States that they may not even know and definitely don't understand their business. So those are the types of things that I know that we can really help with, but are also a difficult conversation to have if nobody's already been on that route.
So yeah, it does. So I'm dyslexic, so I always read people's body language. I love it in a meeting when someone's like, because they care. You care that they're doing that.
Right.
I would think it typically goes over well. Does it ever not go over well when you scare them? You're like, I don't know if you should be doing that.
Yeah, you'd have to be really careful because most of the time when people say that, it's because they don't want to. It feels like more work to find the freight forwarder and hire the freight forwarder. It feels like more responsibility, but they don't realize that they already have that responsibility because legally it will all come back to them anyway. So that's the kind of tricky, delicate conversation we try and have.
So as Aaron says, what can Kansas City do for you? What do you feel like if someone's watching that's an audience member, what are things they could do to promote your business?
Yeah, if you already have international or difficult domestic moves, reach out to somebody local to help you. Our local contacts that, again, have been here for 35 years are able to help you out, and that our expertise does help in sticky situations even. Send us your most difficult stuff. That's fine. And if you are thinking about growing your business internationally, shipping to new markets, like I said, buying from new people, contact us now, even though you don't have the details worked out, and we can help.
I love that. I love that. I love that. All right, Mr. Campbell, 2024, what are your goals and how can the Kansas City community help you?
I got two answers again. I didn't go into this knowing that I would go off agenda, but the first one's actually professional and the second one's personal. From a professional standpoint, what I want to do is I want to make this city that I've called mine, 31 years I've been here, coming up on 32, and I want to make it better. I want to be able to meet with people, talk to them about what problems they have, how I can help. Maybe I can connect them with somebody. I go to McLean's probably 3 to 4 days a week, and I sit out front and I'm the greeter. It's an unpaid job, but it's a really fulfilling one. For lunch, I go to Enjoy. The reason why I go to the same places every time is because I know I'm going to be in the right spot. I'm not going to screw this up and be at the wrong Panera or whatever that is. So what I want to do is I want to be able to help people in this city that need help to be risen up. And I like to coach them, mentor them, and give them my perspective. And I would encourage anybody, point people to me. I'm easy to find them on LinkedIn. Point people to me and I will meet with them. And it's not being self-serving. My business is a little unusual. I charge zero. It's free. I want to engage. I want to help people in Kansas City. So let's get after it and let's do it. Another reason why I charge zero is because when I get up and leave after having an hour and a half of coffee with you at McLean's, I am not taking your to-dos with me. Ain't going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my focus, my attention, my perspective, my learnings, my advice, whatever you want. You can take them or leave them. We'll meet again in 4 weeks or meet again in 4 months. It is your call. And I love that piece of business. So it's not real formal as a mentoring business and a coaching business, but it's fun. That's number one, because I think I can help Kansas City get better. The second one is I want to raise money for Head for the Cure. My wife has an inoperable malignant brain tumor, and I got tired of supporting her with words and decided to support her with the speaking business. So I do keynote speeches around the country with a lot, probably half of them to 2/3 are in the Kansas City area. If you know anybody that needs a speaker to talk about the 3 books that I wrote that I have speeches on are Culture, Leadership, and Mindset, I am freaking good. I am a bit crazy. I'm a little bit nutty, but you'll remember it and you'll understand it and you'll be fired up about it. And I give 100% of my gross speaking fees to charity and 100% of my book proceeds. I have raised $620,000 to date with that piece of my business, and I'm still going strong. The last time I was in a couple weeks ago, I was in San Diego giving a keynote speech, and it went so well. The CEO came up and gave me a hug, and the VP of marketing came up and said, "We're going to double your fee because it was so good." I said, "Thank you."
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, and then one plug, I think Carrie is the best speaker I've ever heard, and also my wife, and I take him up on the free mentoring. So, and have for 6-7 years.
Just a real quick follow-up question that requires a yes or no. Did you speak at the conference center in San Diego?
No, I spoke at the U.S. Grant, which is it's one of the 5 nicest hotels I've ever been in my life. It is extraordinarily high-end. Most sitting presidents have been there, and they've got pictures of all of them that have been there. It's down in the Gas Lamp District or whatever it is, right near the edge of
They
it.
have that conference center there too. It's my favorite place to go to conferences because
Wow.
while you're through the conference, you look over the ocean. I pay attention to the ocean's right there.
I didn't know how it would go because it was a kickoff meeting with all the directors and above from a Fortune 500 company. So a couple hundred people all thinking they know everything. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
And I got lost in it in a good way. I communicated it. I was engaging and it worked. And I thought, I love this stuff. This is what I love to do. And if you know somebody that needs a speaker, just send them my way.
I love that. Elizabeth says she's here to attest to Harry's generosity and time and wisdom. And I want to know Kelli. Thanks to the meeting. So Kelli, look for my invitation to connect. Thank you, Drinks with Leaders. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. This was great. Thank you so much, Scott, for co-hosting. You're doing really good with your one question. You're killing it. Thank you so much for Bestway International. Riley, if you're watching still, thank you guys so much for sponsoring. Yes, Harry?
I wanted to say, I didn't know Bestway International from Jack until I got invited to do this thing. And when I went in and looked at it and went through the website and I've talked to people about you all, congratulations. You all run a very good company. I'm extraordinarily impressed, and I've never found anybody that said anything other than great things about you all. So that was cool.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that's here. That's why they're
Yeah,
here.
box that up. That's marketing right there.
Pay you later, Harry.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Harry, for that. You guys go check out Bestway International as well. We will see you same time, same place this week. And in the meantime, everybody be safe tomorrow as we cheer on the Chiefs and another Super Bowl. Have a great week, guys. Bye.